Hey there folks, thanks for checking the video out. As per usual, click the like button if you like the video and please subscribe to the channel. In this video I'll be covering the top 5 mods you should put on your RFS bike, which is the 525 EXC or any other of the RFS engine bikes, if you're using the bike as a dual sport or a lightweight adventure bike, even if you're using it as a dirt bike. And just to be clear, the RFS engine bikes, they go from 2000 to 2007, that's when they were released by KTM. They include the 520 EXC, the 400 EXC, the 450 EXC, and the 525 EXC. Okay, right, well, let's get started with the top 5 mods. Okay, so number 5 on the list, and yeah, I'll be doing a bit of a countdown here, 5 to 1, etc. Well, number 5 on the list is a bigger tank for fuel. Now, the stock tank for the 525 EXC or the RFS bikes in general is about an 8.5 litre tank, and really you're looking at about 120 k's to 150 before you run out of fuel, right? Which isn't ideal for dirt bike riding, dual sporting, adventure bike riding, right? So an upgrade for the fuel tank is pretty much one of the first things you should probably get over and done with. Now, there's a few different tanks you can get. For dirt bike riding or dual sporting, I would suggest Clark. Clark, they make a 11.7 litre tank that is perfect. I've got it on my 525 EXC over here. With this Clark tank, I get about 200 k's on a tank, depending on the riding, maybe a little bit less, but I have a lot less fuel anxiety, and yeah, it's a great tank. It is a little bit more top heavy than the stock tank because of that extra fuel, so just be aware of that. I mean, you get used to it pretty quickly, to be very honest. Now, if you're using your RFS bike as an adventure bike, the Safari 15 litre tank is the way to go. I've got that on my 450 EXC. Both these bikes, by the way, the 525 and the 450 are 2007 models. Now, the 15 litre Safari tank that I have on my 450 EXC gives me over 300 k's as far as range, and Safari also do a 23 litre tank, which is massive and will give you like 500 k's or more as far as range goes. This Safari tank, I found it to be a really great tank. It holds all its weight really low, and I don't really notice the extra fuel at all, right? So I think that's a great tank. The Clark tank's great as well. Can't go wrong with those two tanks, right? So that's number 5 on the mods list. Get a bigger, better tank. So number 4 on the list is a radiator fan and a coolant overflow container. Now, these bikes don't come with radiator fans and an overflow container for coolant if it boils over. The reality is the RFS bikes, they do run hot. They are mechanically reliable bikes, but if you're riding around slow technical terrain in first, especially on a hot day, well, they're going to get hot. I find a radiator fan is needed, and it keeps the bike nice and cool, and the overflow container is just there to make sure it has somewhere to go, it being the coolant. So if it boils over, the coolant just heads down to the overflow container. Now, I've got the fan set up on a switch. I just have it on all the time. I have a fan on both my bikes. The tanks make no difference. You can easily fit the fans in with the bigger tanks, and it keeps the bike nice and cool. And with the coolant overflow container, a good spot to put the overflow container is near the airbox. So number 3 is a Cush hub. Now, why a Cush hub? Well, look, it basically absorbs engine torque, gear changes, throttle adjustments. It smooths out everything, protects your gears, transmission, extends chain and sprocket lifespan. I think it's necessary personally if you're using these bikes for dual sporting and lightweight adventure bike riding. Now, you can go the more expensive route of getting the full Cush drive rear wheel, right? KKE, Han, those companies do them, right? I went the cheaper option. That's the sprocket you're looking at right now. This is the Mox Sprocket Cush Drive rear sprocket. It's made by a company in New Zealand. It essentially is a rare sprocket. It's got little Cush hub rubbers in there. It's under 300 bucks New Zealand. Do yourself a favor if you pick it up. Grab the Cush, a couple of batches of extra Cush rubbers with it. And yeah, look, I've got it on both my bikes, the 450 525. I've got the 48 tooth mock sprockets on both my bikes. Both these sprockets have done over 10,000 Ks. Both these bikes have done over 10,000 Ks. And yeah, every 5,000 Ks or so, you change the Cush hub rubbers, and that's pretty much it. They do a great job. My transmission gears are great. Chains last pretty long, over 5,000 Ks. I'm a fan. Cheap way of getting a Cush hub in place. The Mox sprocket. Number two would be a bigger stator. All right, so one of the, it's not necessarily a weakness, but one of the things to be aware of with the RFS bikes is the original stators. I believe they're just 80 watt stators or something along those lines. Once you've got lights and especially the fan going, the stator's not keeping up with charging the battery. Okay, so look, it's not the end of the world with these bikes, because they have kickstarts, right, which is amazing. I wish more bikes, newer bikes, actually had kickstarts. They are a lifesaver when things go pear-shaped. All the RFS bikes, all the EXCs, I should say, within the RFS engine range, they all have kickstarts. Great, but no one wants to really kickstart all the time, especially with a dead battery. And that's where a better stator comes in. All right, so I've updated the stator on both the bikes here. There's a few different companies that do different types of stators for these RFS bikes. I think Trail Tech do them and so forth. I went with a company called Radiator Rectifier. They do 250 watt high output stators for all the RFS bikes, right? And from my perspective, that's the way to go. You have zero issues. So I think I mentioned earlier that I run my fans on both the bikes all the time, and the 450 over here has has the lights. It's got heated grips, etc. And when I'm running, the lights, the fan, the heated grips, the 250 watt stator keeps up with it. Battery's always charged. It's great. Okay, so a stator's a worthwhile update, especially if you're using the bike for dual sport or lightweight adventure bikes. I find with the high output stator, I have zero battery anxiety, and I can just run things and stop start continuously, not an issue. The bikes just run, and they're always fully charged. So yeah, number two, get a better stator in there. Number one is, here comes the drum roll, an oil cooler. The RFS bikes basically hold 1.2 litres of oil, not a huge amount of oil. With an oil cooler, you can essentially push the oil capacity out to 1.5 to 1.6 litres. Outside of letting the bikes hold more oil, the oil coolers keep the oil temperature down. Essentially, they push out service intervals. You don't have to change your oil as frequently, which is a big deal if you're using the bike as a dual sport or an adventure bike, racking up the miles or Ks. I can push my services out anywhere between 1,200 to 2,500 Ks. In the past, this company called HT Racing used to make oil coolers for the RFS bikes. HT oil coolers are rare and extremely expensive when they do come up on eBay. Now, there is a way to make your own oil cooler for the RFS bikes. Essentially requires 3 separate purchases. It's a lot cheaper than buying a HT oil cooler on eBay. So the first thing you'll need is a USTPO oil cooler from Amazon. They're about $100. I mean, a bit over $100. Both the bikes have these coolers. All right. The next thing that you will need, a Polaris Outlaw 525 oil cooler adapter. Now, once again, my 525 needs a bit of a clean, but it replaces one of the oil filters. Now, the RFS engine was used on the Polaris quads for a bit, and these adapters can be found on eBay. They're about 200 bucks, approximately. They're under 300, right? So they're available on eBay, and they're nowhere near as rare as you know, the HG oil coolers or whatever. So you will need that though. Okay, so that's the second part, along with the oil cooler, that you'll need. And the last part is, well, connecting up the oil cooler to the adapter. So there's a few different, you know, lines that you can use. So I've used stainless steel lines and fittings from Raceworks. Now you're replacing one of the oil filters, so it's probably prudent to put an oil filter on the actual lines themselves. Okay, so you've still got that second filter, as you know, the bike was originally designed with. So that's a 44 micron filter from Raceworks. But yeah, so cooler, lines, Polaris Outlaw adapter, and that's how you get an oil cooler on these RFS bikes for under 500 bucks, rather than, you know, waiting for one of the HT ones. Well, okay folks, well, that's it. Top 5 mods. I hope that's been useful. Thanks for watching the video again. Like and subscribe to the channel. Well, like the video and subscribe to the channel, I should say. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.